Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about one of the things that I'd like to see change, particularly on pages dedicated to chronic illnesses like IIH and migraines, and that is the negativity towards medical professionals and especially doctors. I'd like to see that type of attitude changed. So before I get into any more details, time for the intro. I spend a lot of time, obviously, on social media and all of that because of having this channel. But I also spend a lot of time looking at what other people talk about with IIH, so I know what are the common types of topics that are on people's minds. And unfortunately, one of the more negative of things I've seen, especially from people with chronic illnesses like IIH, and even migraines, is this negativity towards doctors. Now, there are reasons why I also sometimes get frustrated going to a doctor and, having a rare disease that took months to get diagnosed. The difference between me and a lot of other people is that I do try and look at both sides of this particular problem and find out why people feel this way. Now, from my own experience, I know that the reason why people feel this way about particularly doctors is because they feel like they're not heard. They feel like they're just another number in the system. However, as you will find out in today's video, this is not an error on the doctors usually. This is usually an error and a side effect of a broken healthcare system. So I want to get into a few of the reasons why I think this negativity occurs. And I think this is just something that could easily stop if we both could see each other's side of this story and understand why we're feeling this way, and then not only understand but try and correct it as best as we can. Some of these are systems issues, so it'll take some time for people to actually flip and understand and change these issues, but it is possible to change. For those of you who have been here for a while, you know that I have this kind of medium attitude towards especially chronic illness communities, online, and social media in general with IIH. Now, I haven't talked specifically about social media in general. I'm going to try and do that in the new year because I'm really starting to dislike social media. Now, it gives me this awesome platform to be able to talk to all of you and connect us, which is one of the positives. But there's a lot of negatives of social media as well. This is predominantly something I see online and is one of the major negatives to online support groups and online pages dedicated towards what is ultimately supposed to be a way for people to connect with each other and to share what they're going through, make connections with people who have the same illness. And I believe this is all possible, to have all these positives be the major predominant feature about why people use these support groups. But it's not what is happening. It's not what I'm seeing online, because these posts will get a major amount of interaction because people feel this way deep down, and now it's their ability to spill how they've been feeling. Now I want to get into this issue of medical dramas as well, because not only do I see a problem on social media with people connecting who may not understand everything that goes into the healthcare system and may not understand all of the parts that need to work together in order to have the health system work. I want to get into this issue of medical dramas, because medical dramas do a terrible job of portraying how rare diseases are diagnosed. They do a terrible job of the medicine in general, and particularly the way that real medicine works. And the fact is, not everybody goes into an emergency room and comes out with a diagnosis. Not everybody goes into their doctor's office one time and comes out with a diagnosis. There are things that take months. Rare diseases are one of them. Now, a major reason for why rare diseases take a while to diagnose is because one of the things that doctors are trained to do when they're training is look for the most common possible diagnosis first. It's called look for horses, not zebras. Now, in the medical dramas, you'll see this often presented almost in the opposite way. There's very few medical dramas that I've watched that gets this right. I think that medical dramas do a disservice to people with rare diseases in many ways, but I think this easy portrayal of getting a diagnosis is one of the ways that it majorly fails. To understand this idea of horse and zebra a little bit better, I highly suggest you check out another one of my favorite YouTubers, Dr. Mike. He did a really good video recently where he talked about common misdiagnoses. If you're curious about more of look for horses, not zebras, and understand that better from the medical professional standpoint, and what I think is probably a better explanation than what I could ever give, check out Dr. Mike's video. And Dr. Mike is really entertaining. If you kind of want to get to know healthcare without having to be in healthcare, I really suggest his channel. In the general population, people just aren't comfortable with the unknown. So having the word idiopathic in the name of IIH, having so many things unknown, having so many things uncertain is just not the way the public likes to live. Now, in science thrives off of the unknown. It's what generates the questions to feed the research. It's what leads to the next discovery. It's what drives the entire field, basically, this unknown. If you guys were around last year, in 2019, during IIH Awareness Month, I made a video called Why Finding the Cause of IIH is Important. And I talked a little bit more about these issues and all of that, about coming up with a cause for IIH. Now, the reason why a cause is important is because it generally leads to what the public wants to have right in front of them right this second, which is a cure. Now, also in that video, I advocated for prevention, which is another reason why you want to know the cause. Some things are just unknown. I know the public gets frustrated about this, but to know things according to science often takes years of science. This means years of research, and this requires a lot of funding. To fund scientific research takes millions and millions of dollars, some things likely billions, and it's because science is not cheap. This is why it seems like people have poured in billions of dollars into cancer research and it's gotten nowhere. But in reality, that's gone to finding out the things that are maybe untrue, maybe furthering questions, because to develop good scientific research takes a long time. Science is slow, and for rare diseases, science can be painfully slow. Number one, it's because when you have a rare disease, the research demand isn't there. So these people may not be getting a ton of money to be able to do research. So they get stuck. The disease might be complicated. It might be harder than what it looks like to find out answers. For funding by the public to be provided, people have to be aware about it. For rare diseases, they do not get the press like what common diseases like cancer do. So that's why it's important to raise awareness about these rare diseases. These are chronic pain conditions. Now, chronic pain is a bit of a sensitive topic depending on who you ask. I believe that chronic pain patients are being treated quite terribly by the healthcare system. Now, this isn't the doctor's fault. We cannot blame doctors for this. This is a failure of the system and how it was in previous decades, and particularly with the opioid crisis. So, chronic pain patients, from what I understand, often appear to ER doctors in particular as people who are drug seeking. I have refused all opioids and pain medications because I'm scared I'm going to become reliant and addicted on them. I do admit that. And this is why I am particularly strict on this particular topic, is because I am not there. I do know people who are there and who will fight me and argue with me in comment sections across the internet because of they absolutely require their opioids to survive. Okay, that's great. That's your story. But another thing that comes along with this is our stories are just anecdotes and do not necessarily translate to the rest of the population just because we have the same condition. This is why I say question my YouTube videos, because this is just my story. This is just anecdote. This is just what you're hearing from one person with this condition. Others can have completely different stories from me. And what needs to happen is that people need to understand that anecdotes are not causal and they cannot be applied to absolutely everybody. Our healthcare system is broken in a lot of different places. Now, depending on where you are, you're going to have specific issues related to your healthcare system, whether it's wait times for certain things are really, really long. The biggest reason why I'm so involved with ZDoggMD and his tribe is because as a patient, I truly honestly believe that the only way I truly believe to have the perfect system is to have healthcare professionals and patients work together to make the best system possible. This means understanding each other's sides of the story, and this means honestly working together towards the best possible healthcare plan. And that only works through collaboration. As you can see, there's multiple sides to the story. As you can see, it's a lot more than just doctors are evil because they won't give me a diagnosis or this particular pill, or they seem to dismiss me at every possible turn. I felt like that before too, but you gotta realize there's a point of view that they're coming from as well, and try to really understand that. If you can't understand, ask more questions. And the only way we're truly gonna be able to navigate the system right now is to work together and have a good relationship with your doctor as best as you can. I know that's really, really difficult when your appointments are limited to 15 minutes, but do the best you can. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave one down below. If you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell, turn your notifications to all so you never miss another video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share. If you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, be sure to like and follow. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye everyone.